Been a while since I made one of these, huh? One of my honest review videos. Well, Anime Vanguards just released Update 3 for their game, and in this video we're going to be going over the good and the bad, and giving as much of a non-partisan take as I possibly can. Although, judging from some of the comments in my last video, a lot of people are just really dead set on playing anime adventures, which, I can't blame you, but this update had a lot of things to cover, so let's get started. Obviously, we're going to start off with the good because, we want to start it off on a positive note. The sheer amount of content that we got, I feel like I've said that exact same phrase verbatim, but it really can't be understated, just the pure amount of stuff to do in this update. So, I'll start it off with the features. We got 12 new units, a new winter banner, new portals game mode, a new battle pass, but we'll get into the battle pass later. Leaderboard rewards, I'm not going to lie, I was a little sad that 7 is a leaderboard unit because that means I'm basically never going to get him. But, the fact that he's a leaderboard unit does make sense. He's kind of like just there. There's like no other anime characters accompanying him. He's just a standalone unit. So it makes sense that they made him a leaderboard unit. But yeah, we got new leaderboard rewards, 12 new units, new banner, new game mode. Portals are something that people were asking for a very long time, so it is really great to finally see them. On the topic of portals, the way that portals were executed in this update was absolutely perfect in my opinion. You have multiple tries on a portal in case you lag out or if you fail. You can automatically queue into the next portal straight from your inventory without having to go back to the lobby. The portals have different modifiers. There's like 100 different combinations of modifiers that can roll on a portal now. And they all have like different elemental variants, and they all have like a bunch of different stuff. They're all on different maps too, and that's sort of a double-edged sword, but we'll get into that in the bad section. I think the way that they did portals was perfect. There is like really nothing that I can complain about on the portal side of things because they really just perfected the formula. Like, it's just amazing. In my opinion, portals is one of the best parts of the update. It's one of the big content pieces of it, so it makes sense, but yeah, great addition for the portals. New content is amazing. Let's keep going. A little bit more detail on the portals. We also have 3 new familiars and 2 new secret portals that will drop from... One of them drops from the normal portals. I'm pretty sure the other one is the hidden gateway that you get from doing the world lines. I think that one gives you Subaru. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the 2 new secret units, Ragna and Subaru, are super cool. I haven't gotten to use them myself, but I've seen some showcases on them and they look dope. Let's move on. This is something else that I don't see too many people talking about, and it's the new sandbox game mode that literally lets you basically try out anything in the game with any combination of enemies. And this is insanely useful for unit showcases or anything with content creation, really. But I feel like for the average player, it's good too, just to be able to try out units that you've never gotten to use before. I know that I myself will definitely be trying it out after this video. A sandbox game mode is something that I never really thought about for a TD game, but it's definitely nice to have. And once again, Anime Vanguards innovates, albeit not like, they're not reinventing the wheel, but this is a nice addition. I don't think anyone's complaining about it. Let's move on. This one is a much needed addition that I'm glad is finally in the game. Unit XP fusing. You can now, combine units that you don't care about to level up units that you do care about. Best example I can think of this is Anime Adventures. They have that, so I'm glad this game has that. It's just nice to have, especially if you don't have food. But like, who doesn't have 999 of every single food type from macroing? Anyways, let's move on. This is the last thing that I want to mention for the good: new health stocks. I absolutely love this because it fixes a really root issue that a lot of tower defense games have, where in later game content, having health is basically useless. Because, we'll use literally any anime tower defense game as an example. As you get into harder levels of content, the enemies have like upwards of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 health off spawn, and your base always has 100 HP. So your health is basically useless in later game modes because you're going to be one tap anyway. It doesn't matter that you have health. This new system that introduces stocks where you can let up to 3 enemies will leak before you lose. So you can let up to 2 enemies leak without dying. That makes it incredibly just a lot more... I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely transitions well into all areas of content, because now whether you're doing the first stage of story mode or you're doing a leaderboard run on wave 300, it doesn't matter because you're always going to have the same 3 stocks. And I would argue this is better for all players at all levels because, let's be honest, 100 health or whatever, usually the textbook number that they give you is 100, but whatever normal numerical amount of health you would have before pales in comparison to having 3 stocks. I would say having 3 stocks of HP for your base is a lot better than any system we have now, and I definitely wanted to mention it in this video because I feel like it's something that a lot of people are going to overlook, but you got to give them credit where credit is due. That was a clever idea, and it was great. I forgot what I was going to say. I had a brain fart. Anyways, let's move on to the bad. Honestly, I don't think the bad is going to be longer than the good for this video. All things considered, this was a pretty good update with not too many things to complain about, but it's not free of any flaws, and I'd say the biggest, most glaring one was just that the update was riddled with bugs on release. And, you know, if you don't take my word for it, one look in the Discord server will show you the long list of bugs that had to be fixed, like, today. And as soon as the update came out, a lot of people were telling me something battle pass bug, and people were losing their levels and they lost their battle pass. I'm no expert on that. I did notice that I didn't have my premium battle pass anymore, but I'm pretty sure that was intentional. I don't think it was intended for the battle pass to be a permanent game pass. I'm pretty sure it's a one and done type thing, so whenever a new battle pass comes in, you're gonna have to buy the new one, similar to Anime Adventures. So I don't know if that was a bug. A lot of people were saying like the battle pass reset and they lost their levels. I mean, I feel like there's a disconnect here. I don't know if I'm just misunderstanding people, but the battle pass restarting because it's new is supposed to be like that, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what people said, but besides the battle pass bug, there was like people weren't able to get the new secret units. They just weren't dropping from the portals at all. Some people were like, there was another bug where everyone could get them. Like someone messaged me something about that. And if we were to sit here and just go through all of the bugs one by one, this video would be longer than I want it to be, so we're just not going to do that. Just know the update had a bit of a rocky start in terms of, you know, bugs. There was quite a few of those. But other than that, I really can't think of any real complaints or pieces of criticism for this update. I would say all of the content features that we got and all of the gameplay additions were done very tastefully, and they were done well. Me personally, I didn't experience too many bugs or things that halted my gameplay in a way where I couldn't enjoy it. So yeah, for the bad, all I'm gonna say is a little bit of a rocky road in terms of performance for the game and, you know, gameplay wise, but other than that, nothing really comes to mind. And I know when I put out this video, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, how much did they pay you to make this? I know this game sucks, pussy. You're lying to me. Look, as soon as you guys saw my I Love Update 3 video, there was a lot of people that were just like immediately hating on the update, hating on the game, and I just don't get why. I really don't. And this isn't even me being biased towards one game or the other. I'll openly admit, I like Anime Vanguards more than Anime Adventures. That's just what I personally enjoy more. I don't really play either of them religiously, but if you ask me to choose which game I'd rather play, I'll go with AV. Doesn't mean I don't like Anime Adventures. Like I said, it's just a personal opinion. I feel like a lot of people's personal opinions start clouding their judgment, and, you know, that's when they start thinking opinion equals fact. One of the biggest comments on my prior video about Anime Vanguards is AA is free. You know, so is bashing my head into a wall. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be too tempted to do that, you know? Like, Anime Adventures is cool and all, but like personally, there's just not a lot of things that I want to do in that game right now, and grinding for Horizon is not one of them. Like I said, it's like bashing your head into a wall. That drop chance, abysmal, and I know I'm not going to get it. Oh, yeah, speaking of drop chances, I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the new Vanguard unit, which is like a 0.05%. Again, like same thing as Diablo. I remember when Diablo first came out, I criticized that drop rate, and I was like, you know, maybe there should be something a little bit better, maybe increase the rate a little bit. I don't think they want it to be like that. From a game design standpoint, the way that I see it, they sort of just want Vanguard units to be these super rare, difficult to obtain units. And I mean, if that's how they want it to be, that's their game. Gogeta is extremely strong though. One of his passives just doubles his damage. He just outright gets double DPS because every attack that he does, a clone spawns in and does the exact same attack. So with Monarch, he's doing like 300k, don't quote me on that, like somewhere around that, 280, 250k, but he's doing hella damage, and then you double that because he just has his clone passive, which is super duper crazy. But he's a Vanguard unit, so he should be good. You know, if he's the rarest pinnacle type unit in the game, it makes sense that he's good. But I really can't think of too many things to complain about in this update. And a lot of people, you know, they definitely think I complain a little too much about video games. I'd like to think it's constructive criticism, but I really can't I'm at a loss for words. This was a good update. I like this update. I'm sure a lot of people like this update, but, you know, I could be wrong. If there are any sort of things that you personally didn't like with the update that I didn't mention in this video, feel free to let me know in the comments, and if it's actually really good, I'll pin your message, just so like more people can see something that I didn't mention. But besides that, closing thoughts, this was a W update, dude. Good shit. The wait for it was really long, but I definitely say that they delivered. I don't think Anime Vanguards will ever reach the same levels of success as they did on release, where they had like well over 100, 200k players at all times. But that's mainly because of two things. You know, the hype for the game is just not what it is anymore, and I don't think it's ever going to come back. You got to keep in mind, Anime Vanguards was probably the most overglazed game before it came out. Like, you guys don't know what the hype train was about. In fact, some of you guys watching this video were probably part of that hype train, and you probably don't like the game anymore. You know, it's funny how time flies, you know, how the tables turn. But what I'm trying to say is, Anime Vanguards on this update, numerically, right? People will look at it and be like, oh, bro, they only peak like 40k players. Like, game's dead. Fuck the game. Like, that's why AA is better. I've never really believed in the notion that player count equals quality of game. Although, if a game's really popular, they're obviously doing something right. But, like, fuck, bro. Look at something like Pets Go, or Pet Sim, or Anime RNG Battlegrounds Tower Defense 2. Like, just because it has a lot of players doesn't necessarily mean that it's an objectively better game. In fact, if it's on Roblox, more often than not, it just means it panders to children more. I feel like I'm getting off topic here, though. Closing thoughts for Update 3 of Anime Vanguards. W update, dude. Great update. I definitely say there was more bad than good. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But with all that being said, that's going to be it from me. I am still learning to use Filmora, so if there are any hiccups in this video, I apologize. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay tuned for more content, and we will catch you in the next one.